Let's talk about building a resilient business. This means we need to focus on business continuity and business resilience planning. My name is Fleetus Poston, and I'll spend the next few minutes talking about the importance of understanding why and how to build a business continuity plan, an incident response plan, and making sure you're prepared for any disaster that impacts your business. So this is important to recognize. The best time to start was yesterday, and the next best time is today. This may resonate with a lot of you as you continue to say, tomorrow I will focus on that. If I had just had more time, I'll get to that. So I'd like to remind you now, please plan accordingly, as tomorrow may be when that disaster hits. So disasters are not getting less frequent. First, let's look at natural disasters. Natural disasters are estimated to increase by 37% over the next 2 years, primarily impacting our physical risk, which can lead to human risk factors as well. We just came out of a geopolitical event, and there's more going on. Nation-state cyber attacks have doubled over the last 3 years, spanning both cyber and physical domains. So this means your organization must plan accordingly. Please build your disaster recovery plans. Test your business continuity plans. And for the cyber organizations, build an incident response plan and do tabletop exercises to test that you understand what you will do in the event of a cyber attack. Also, do drills to test your business continuity plan. So if you were to lose your website or key personnel, and do disaster recovery planning in the event of a major snowstorm, hurricane, or other natural disaster hits your headquarters or impacts a large amount of your workforce. So what is a business continuity plan? It spells out how your organization will continue to run while experiencing a disaster or major disruption. It includes things like natural disasters, data breaches, strong economic downturns, hardware failures, and even human errors. The core goal here of a business continuity plan is to keep your business's core functions operational throughout the disruption. So this means that you've taken the time to do a risk assessment to understand what will be impacted if you are hit with a hurricane, or if your data center has a breach and you lose data. Or let's just say we had a large downturn again and you couldn't get key supplies. But you're a restaurant. Egg prices continue to go up and your main dish is an omelet. How is that going to impact your business model? Thus, being prepared to maintain continuity through natural disasters, security events, or other economic downturns. So as we dive into this presentation, reflect on what this means for your organization and go ahead and begin to plan now. Well, let's discuss the key objectives to your business continuity plan. The first one is minimizing downtime. This means you want to reduce the amount of time your business operations are disrupted due to the events we've discussed in the previous slides. You want to protect your assets. This includes physical assets, cyber assets, and any other intellectual property that your organization needs to maintain its business. You need to implement measures to safeguard these assets, thus mitigating risk of financial loss, reputational damages, and or legal liabilities in the event of a disruption. Next, ensure the safety of your employees. Actually, this should be the first step in your organization. The safety and well-being of employees is a critical objective of business continuity. Organizations must have plans and protocols in place to ensure the safety of their employees during disruption, whether it's a natural disaster, a public health emergency, or a security event. For example, you want to make sure that the well-being of your employees is the top priority before you start recovery of a physical location. Because without your people, your organization will not succeed, and safety and health is a key priority. So reflect now on what you will do to maximize your uptime while minimizing downtime, understanding what assets you need to protect. Do you have an asset inventory? Do you know what your key assets are? Do you know where they reside? Do you know what it would cost your business if you lost that data center, the the research and development project, the intellectual property that you guys have created and patented and trademarked? Ultimately, protect these assets and have a plan to handle any disruption to your people, to your systems, and to your data. So now let's dive into the components of a robust business continuity plan. First, we need to do a risk assessment. This involves identifying potential risk and vulnerabilities that could impact your organization's operations. This helps aid in understanding the likelihood and potential impact of various risks that comes along with hurricanes, ice storms, that comes with a ransomware attack, or if you have a supply chain disruption in your organization. Next, do a business impact analysis, also known as a BIA. This will help you assess the potential consequences of these disruptions. Will your business succeed? Will you have to close your doors? What will it cost you? How long can you be down before you have an impact? By identifying these things, you understand the financial impact, the operational impact, and then your reputational impact. So if your organization is an e-commerce site and you have a denial of service attack and your users cannot reach it, what does that cost your business financially per second, per minute, per hour? And then does your customers or do your customers understand how to reach out to you? Do you have a brick and mortar? Can they just drive down to the local store? Or is all of your business via the e-commerce as a software as a service platform? This will mean understanding the business impact of that cyber event when you have a denial of service attack to allow you to properly budget and prioritize recovery efforts and allocating respective resources both inside your organization and third parties to alleviate the impact of these natural disasters or cyber events. For a cyber event, do you have an incident response plan? What are your procedures and protocols you will follow? Have you assigned resources to these procedures? Do these resources understand it's their job? And do they have the ability to test these procedures, such as a tabletop, a walkthrough? Have they been edited recently or are they outdated? These allow you to find roles and responsibilities of all key personnel in your organization. What communication channels will you use? For example, if your Teams or your Slack is compromised, do you have an out-of-band communication setup, such as Signal or Discord, to use in the event? And what is the escalation process from the time an incident is declared before moving into an incident management and eventually moving into an opportunity for you to have to call law enforcement to assist with the recovery process? And lastly, make sure it's timely and that you coordinate the responses to minimize the impact to your employees, to your customers, and facilitate a swift recovery, as communication is key. You need to ensure you have accurate, timely, and concise communications to your internal stakeholders and to external parties. If that's the board, if that's the local chapters that you're part of, the ISACs that you're part of, do you know how and when to communicate? Define communication plans, contact list before the event, and protocols for how you're going to share information during the disruption. For example, make sure that you only provide your public relations or communications person with the information they are allowed to share, not the information they're not allowed. Because as humans, if we get stressed or if we get distracted, we may start sharing information that we may not be able to realize. I'm not allowed to say this. Security said this. Is it something I can or cannot say? So make sure that when you communicate, you effectively do so in a manner that you do not put your public relations or communication or leader in a position that they're sharing misinformation, inadequate information, or declassifying internal information too soon, as this allows you to manage expectations and maintain a stakeholder confidence that you're actively working to recover from the event or disaster while facilitating a coordinated response and recovery effort. So I've mentioned business continuity. So what is the difference between business continuity and business resilience? Business continuity focuses on maintaining the essential operations during the disruption. Resilience goes beyond that. Resilience involves the ability to adapt, recover, and thrive in the face of these challenges. It encompasses not only the ability to continue to operate, but it also the capacity to bounce back and even improve in the aftermath of the disruption. Are you able to implement your BC plans, your business continuity plans, as they're critical for ensuring operational success? Any disruption will cause some kind of impact, either revenue, financial, reputation, your brand, or customer trust. Will they move on? Will they cancel? Will they not tell their friends and family to do business with you? So, a robust plan needs to be in place to mitigate these risks while ensuring that your organization can and will continue to operate even when it faces the unexpected events. We don't want you to go out of business because you haven't planned. Majority of small to mid-sized businesses who do not properly build and test their business continuity plans will likely be out of business within 2 years of an event taking place. So prep now, test often, and be ready to respond when an event happens. And now let's discuss mitigating risk and ensuring continuity. First, we've already talked about this, so I'll say it again. Business continuity plays a critical role in your organization continuing to operate. With robust plans and strategies, you can identify potential risk, gaps, and build on them. You'll be able to develop preventative measures, such as implementing new controls, physical or cyber. Do you need to put locks on the building? Do you need to install a badge reader? Do you need to put man traps in your doors? From a cyber point of view, do you have a depth in defense? Have you deployed the proper endpoint, network, and cloud controls to mitigate a potential impact? Thus, establishing protocols and procedures to allow you to recover effectively after a disruption. As we talked about, proactiveness is key here again in minimizing the impact you will see with inside your organization, because you need to maintain your products and services for your customers. All of us can and will be impacted by an event. It's not that we have the event, but how we recover that sets us apart from our peers, our competitors, and allows us to make a lasting impact with inside of the industry that we do business. So now let's discuss 3 characteristics of a resilient organization. The first is agility. This is your ability to quickly and effectively adapt to the changing situations or circumstances, thus allowing your organization to effectively navigate disruptions and seize new opportunities. Do you have the capabilities to cross train or have individuals step up and continue to operate if a key resource is sick or unable to come online? Do you have manual procedures that you can follow if your digital processes are down or you can't access your digital data? Which leads into adaptability. It's your capability to adjust your strategies and operations when faced with unexpected challenges. We dealt with all this several years ago when the world shut down. For example, a restaurant who only served sit-down meals had to find ways to keep their doors open and sell takeout or drive-through orders and manage their meals in a way that can be reheated at home to allow their employees to still work and allow their customers to still buy their food. Thus, many organizations also had to adapt to a work from home process. IT organizations had to quickly establish secure remote access, such as VPNs, to allow their employees to log in for the first time remotely, when some of them have never worked outside of an office, thus leading to a proactive risk management. To continue to pull that string, users are now sitting in their home, accessing sensitive documents. Have you identified the proper risk that comes along with a clean desk policy at home? Or users who are having to log into a VPN for the first time to access sensitive data in their Salesforce, their Google Cloud, their SharePoints, thus causing potential risk and threats to your organization. Those who did this well were able to minimize the impact and disruptions to their operations while transitioning their employees from the office to a remote location. So think through how all three of these characteristics can make your organization resilient. Have agility, be able to adapt, and understand your risk management early to make sure your organization is set apart and ready in the event of a disruption. So let's complement our business continuity with resilience. Business continuity and resilience are two interconnected concepts that play a critical role in ensuring organizational success. The foundation of resilience is a robust business continuity plan. Thus, it provides the foundation for resilience by identifying key processes, resources, and dependencies to allow your organization to develop strategies that mitigate risk, thus ensuring operations. This proactive approach not only minimizes the impact of disruption, but it also enhances your organization's ability to respond and recover effectively, leading to enhanced business continuity. Resilience enhances the effectiveness of your BC plans by fostering a culture of preparedness, adaptability, and continuous improvement. It evolves into building an organizational capabilities that were not there, such as redundancy, flexibility, and agility to respond to unexpected events and evolve from these challenges. Thus, embracing resilience, your organization can not only recover from the disruptions, but also seize the opportunity for growth and innovation, setting themselves apart and allowing them to be better because of the event and come out stronger. And now for some application. Is your organization aware? A study was completed by the Harvard Business Review stating that 67% of employees will break their cybersecurity policies just to get their jobs done. And this was in the previous 2 weeks of the study. Thus meaning you need to educate your employees on policies and procedures. Even better, you need to meet with your employees to understand how they do their job prior to writing policies and procedures that could impact their productivity. So now let's talk about data protection and some strategies around that. We've all heard and talked about the insider risk. So let's talk about three different employees. We have the gruntle employees. Those are the ones who are happy. They are finding value in their job. They're able to excel in their job and they find it rewarding to come to work. Next are your disgruntled employees. These are the ones who are likely on a performance review. You've got them on a PIP. They are having issues at home or in their personal life that they're bringing to work, or there's tension between their boss or their coworkers, which can cause turnover. And lastly, your former partnerships. These are partnerships that you've established with statement of work contractors or business to business or business to consumer connection. We turn these over often. Your gruntle employees may retire or take a new job. Your disgruntled employees may quit and just stop coming to work and ghosting you. And your former partnerships, if you don't properly do your identity lifecycle management, may still have access to your system, even though they haven't worked for you for months or years. So make sure that you understand your data protection in regards to your business continuity planning. So what should you do to have a robust plan? It starts with a 3-2-1 backup. Have 3 copies of your data in 2 different locations, with one of them being offline. Digitalize all your physical data. Don't rely on file cabinets or data being stored. We've all seen this if you've been around for a little while. You walked into an older dentist or medical facility, your primary doctor, and behind the receptionist was a wall of files. Please digitalize those files so that if a fire happened or a disgruntled employee who wants to rage delete, aka throw away, your patients are not impacted. Also, it's likely a HIPAA violation, as any employee could open up the file and see their medical conditions. Test your employees with tabletops. This can be an incident response plan tabletop. This can be security awareness tabletops where you challenge your organizations on what they would do in the event of a social engineering, a phishing attempt, or a web download. This could also be a physical tabletop. How would you handle not having access to your workplace? Or you cannot reach your boss because the phone lines are down, or you can't get to the physical facility to do your walk downs or maintenance. Think about these when you're establishing your business continuity and resilience plan. Make sure you have proper backups, that you're digitalizing your data, and that you're testing your policies and procedures via tabletop exercises regularly. So, to continue the data protection and employee point, let's talk about the vulnerabilities of employee transitions. So, you start day one, I hire you as a project manager. I give you access to the project manager SharePoint and database where all the files are kept for the respective projects. Within 3 to 6 months, you're excelling at your role, so I promote you to manager. Again, you still have your access to your PM database, but you're no longer an individual contributor. Fast forward 3 to 5 years, we decided we wanted to make you a leader in the marketing department. So now, if I do not clean up your roles and responsibilities, I have access creep. And that's dangerous, as we may trust the employee, but we don't trust their rights. Because the adversary, the threat actor, is going to try to determine what you have access to when they get access to your creds. Where you and I, as a gruntle employee, aren't randomly clicking on every file and folder, but a piece of malware will to see what it has access to. Additionally, if we don't properly change the access, we allow for deletion or exfil, simply through thoughtlessness, or it could be malicious. For example, if you don't have a data loss prevention, your employee may accidentally send sensitive files to their Gmail, their live account, or to the wrong person. Please, how could this happen? Well, auto completion in Outlook. You could start typing and just tab complete. And if you're not paying attention, instead of sending to your company email, you send it to your personal email. Or you type John Smith in thinking you're sending it to your boss, and instead you send it John Smith 1, who's your son's basketball coach. You just accidentally exfilled data. Additionally, you're cleaning up your SharePoint or your file share, and you think you're moving files and you're accidentally deleting files because you have read, write, execute permissions in these versus just read, and you've just deleted production data. Next, Knowledge transfer. Each and every one of us who's changed roles has likely been asked to create a knowledge transfer document. Share what projects you have ongoing, share what you're actively working on, and share a day in the life and steps that you have to complete. This may be difficult if this person passes away, or wins the lottery and just quits, or changes jobs without proper documenting, leaving your organization in a place that they don't have the right information. Or you're a graphic designer and all of your stuff has been done locally, and your backfill needs access to those vector files and you don't have them because they were stored locally. And when you resigned, you gave your laptop to your manager who put it in their office. And 2 weeks later, they realize, hey, I still have this. They give it to their IT team to be wiped. You just lost potentially hours, if not weeks, if not months of data that's going to have to be reproduced. So make sure that you're properly facilitating the sharing of the right files and transferring ownership of documentation, working files before it's too late. To drive this home a little bit more, there's data vulnerabilities. We all know of ransomware, but I'm going to think about it a little bit differently here for you. Play a different scenario out for you. You asked your organization during a ransomware attack, what sensitive data you have? Let's use the persona or the person of the executive admin at a large company who was hit with ransomware. They didn't think they had anything important on their laptop, but after interviewing them, they had access to all of the C-levels' personal information, credit card information. And where did they store that data? In an Excel file on their desktop. So they did have access to PI, personal identifiable information. They had access to a lot of different information that was sitting on their desktop. This executive admin just gave a data vulnerability, as they didn't think they had anything important, but what they did is they had sensitive information sitting in an Excel file, sitting on their desktop. Knowing what's on your endpoint can be just as important as recovering the files. Without that interview, we may not have known that she had a file with the first name, last name, their address, their date of birth, and the social and their credit card all in a file as she was scheduling their flights, booking their hotels, ordering food for them, may have had allergy information, and had the respective executive's credit card inside that file, leaving each one of those executives vulnerable and now needing to set up credit monitoring and or data protection or physical protection for their homes in the event of a cyber event. So now some practical questions. Do you categorize your data? Do you have a strategy for onboarding and offboarding your employees, contractors, business partners, connections? Have you defined a legal hold strategy in the event that you need to put a person's endpoint, their laptop, on legal hold? You may have an e-discovery process to put their mailbox for their email on hold, but have you thought about how you would handle the endpoint itself? And you need to continue to monitor the rights that your users have so that you're not over provisioning them, giving them the ability to rage delete, accidentally delete data, or exfil data inadvertently, causing a risk to your organization and a disruption to key business activities. So as we're coming to a close, I want to share this quote with you. Technology is inherently neutral. It's up to us to use it in a way that is more responsible, inclusive, sustainable, enabling, and ethical. From Pat at Intel. So we've talked a good bit today during this presentation on the risks of not having proper business continuity and business resilience, not being able to be adaptable, agile, having proactive risk management. Make sure you understand how your organization is using its technology, its processes, and its people. We wrapped up in the last couple slides talking about the end user and how they can impact your organization without knowing, as they may be over provisioned. They maybe have access to data that they shouldn't and can easily delete it or accidentally share it. So make sure that you understand how to be responsible and enabling ethical behaviors to take place so that your gruntle employees don't become disgruntled, turning into insider risk, impacting your business continuity. So this concludes our presentation. Thank you for taking time today to tune in and listen to the resiliency that comes with having a business continuity and business resilience plan. I challenge each and every one of you, including myself, to review our business continuity plans, to make sure we have an incident response plan, and that we understand policies and procedures to enable us to protect our organization from the disgruntled employee. Protect your technology, implement policies and procedures that allow you to ultimately protect your organization and enable your employees, including yourself, to be safe and secure. If you like this presentation, please like and subscribe. Feel free to reach out to me here on YouTube, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you again for your time, and I appreciate every one of you tuning in. Until next time, stay safe and stay secure.